Today we're speedrunning every Trollface quest game, starting with the first, and right away, we get this guy.
Do you like games?
Yeah, I do.
I want to play a game with you.
Alright, sure.
Turn off TV to get to the next level.
And we'll do just that, where my guy is very happy about all the pain he's about to be in, because basically how these games work is they give you a couple of options and you have to pick the right one, but the right option is not really obvious. Like for this one, before we start rearranging these pipes, we have to put a gas mask on, because otherwise our boy would just die. For this next one, instead of shooting this guy, we do that. So that's a fun time. And here we take off the costume, reveal ourselves inside. So yeah, you could probably understand basically how this game works. Like we're getting rid of this wizard. We're not letting him do anything to us. For this car one, we can't actually go too far. So I'm going to go to about this flag and then we're going to stop, because if we don't, a giant hammer kills us. Now you do see all the weapons coming towards us. Those are a little bit scary, but they are going to stop just before they get to us, and we can make sure we don't die for that. For this one, we're just going to keep tapping on our dude. There are these wires that we could do something with, but we can also just completely ignore them. Yeah, some of these solutions are very obvious and really easy to do, and some of the solutions are actually kind of complicated. This one, I read it really cool. Instead of clicking the guy, we just have to click the words Trollface. For this one, we have to move all of our options. That way we can get the win button. And then on the maze level, it tries to trick you by making you think you made it to the finish, but we also have to get to the next level button and not hit any of those walls, so that's important too. Now here we have this car, which is kind of just doing its thing. We can have it go a little bit forward. Then there are going to be these walls. It does give us a fire button, but we don't actually use that. We just click on the walls, and that works for some reason. Now on this boulder, it gives us multiple buttons, but instead we click on the boulder, which then gets that face. Yeah, this is such a weird game. Then we get onto what I would imagine is the most annoying level if we were playing this casually, because we have to keep clicking this green button, but you know the green and red buttons are going to switch eventually. So the first time you play this, you're probably a lot more careful until afterwards you realize it's just the last one where something happens. Now for this next one, our guy is getting surrounded by both sides with just tons of weapons, but thankfully we can put our mouse in the top right corner, and eventually there is going to be a button that we can click, which is going to save him. We're almost to the end of this first game. We just got a couple more we have to do. For this one, you have to click all 10 troll faces, but it only gives you 9. So then we have to wait out the timer. It's going to tell us we lost, but then we can click the last troll face in there. Now for this jump button, what I like to do is be careful about jumping early instead of late, because it's very easy to get hit by the spikes that will come out. And for the last one, we just don't jump over it, which is going to keep us safe. So second to last level time, and for this one, it gives us a pattern, which we need to do. And for the last part of the pattern, we actually hit our guy, which counts, and then he gets the dumbest look on his face. Now we're gonna fix the TV, see this guy again.
Do you like games?
I don't like you, man.
I want to play a game with you.
So instead of playing with him again, our guy just runs away, probably the good idea, and that's the first game done. Now we're on to Trollface Quest 2, and for this one, it's gonna introduce a new companion, this chicken guy, who's going to be in a lot of these levels, but for this one, we wanna become a star, so we click on all those stars, get through that. For this one, we're gonna close our eyes, see our chicken. He's just here to hang out, I guess. Then we have to get rid of the clouds that are going to block the moon, because that guy is the boy. We want to use the water on the chicken instead of us. I think it's a little too hot for us. Then the chicken comes to our safety. Some guy was literally torturing us, making us dangle off of that, which was kind of terrifying. That's also how you can get through TSA. Probably don't try it. I don't think it will actually work. But then we get everybody to get mad at that. And we're kind of getting through these levels faster than I can even commentate them. So I'm going to try harder. Now for this one, we got to get these cards. I know the exact order we have to go. And for the last one, it's going to be a troll face. So we can just change our face into being a troll face too. Now this guy's going to dangle candy. We get that. Then there's going to be the Titanic, which we just yell at the iceberg and it leaves. I guess that's all you had to do, so now we're safe to go. Now I have to aim really carefully in that guy's mouth so the shark doesn't eat us, and then we can get our big shark to eat him instead. Now for this one, there's just a button that we have to find. Very hard to look for if I wasn't speedrunning, I'm not gonna lie. Then we gotta make it through this cabin. All we have to do is raise the temperature, which was easy. There's gonna be this guy who's trying to trick us because the ball was in his nose. Kinda gross, dude. You can see the disgust on his face, probably for himself, because why were you trying to do that? We just have to then slow down this washing machine, and here we just completely cheat on the slots, which, to be fair, I'm not going to feel sorry for a casino at all. Now we're going to take 2 drinks of that and then finally give this guy the 3rd drink, which is going to cause him to pass out. And then finally, for the last level, all we have to do is act sad and the pirate's going to give us this key, ending off the speedrun, which means we're on to number 3. And I love how each of these different games have their own art style. But to start with this one, we just have to make sure that we don't die to anything. There's a bomb going for us. There's a mine in the street. We just got to move those out of the way. Next, for level 2, we'll click the menu button instead of the doormat. For this one, we see that she wants an eaten apple, so we do that. I don't know why she wanted that. Now for this maze one, for the second part of it, we have to do inverse controls, which is kind of hard to get through, a little bit scary, but then we have this tank. We're not going to drive it across the bridge. We're just going to walk. We don't need the tank. And for this one, we just want to drain the entire ocean. Goodbye, sea life, I guess. This guy's trying to shoot us, so we move ourselves out of the way, then shoot him from behind because that's what he gets. For this tree, we're going to move it closer so that we just get destroyed by a giant apple. Then another tree level where we have this woodpecker just trying to do its thing. It gets trolled nice and easy. We're then trying to go towards the wall, but we turn ourselves around so we don't die. Then the game wants us to call troll, which will be 87655. There's some guy just brushing his teeth. Not sure why he's doing that. Then for this doll, we actually want to open only one because there's some guy just hiding in there. Now for this plant, we want to give it 2 things of water, 1 thing of poison, which turns it into a troll plant. This third game really likes trees because we get one again. We're just going to move it to the right. Our guy has no idea what's going on. Then we have this contraption. We're going to move the gears in its head. It's going to laugh. Kind of weird. Not exactly sure what that is. We're going to move the finish line to our guy instead of doing any work. And we're going to spell out I'm dumb, which is really rude of the game making me do that. Now we have to hit this guy with a coconut, then get Mr. Krabs to come out, scare him to go the other way. We have this TV. We want to click on that button, which is going to be the perfect one. And for the last level, we have to spot 5 different differences, where the last one will be a single pixel, which is kind of messed up of the game. But finally, once that ends, that's the third game done. Next, number 4 is all about the Olympics, where we're trying to win some gold medals. We can't skip these first opening cutscenes, but right away we're going to use lightning to go and start the torch. Then we're going to move that target closer, which is completely cheating. Not sure how we're allowed to do that. We're going to get the sun to come out to get rid of our opponent. Kind of rude, man. Then we're going to get this guy, just keep clicking on him. Eventually he's going to do that. The other guy is really concerned, and then an ambulance takes him away. Not exactly sure what that sequence of events was, not going to lie. But I do know what this one is. We're going to be trying to murder someone. We're going to keep drilling into this ice. Eventually there's going to be a skater coming through. We want to click him twice. Then once he comes around the 3rd time, he falls in there. We're laughing. We literally just murdered that man. Like, there's no other way you could look at that. It was messed up. Yeah, we get kind of evil in this game. But for this one, we want to get the world record. So we stop ourselves in the air and then drag ourselves over. Now for this one, instead of moving that disc, we're just going to get a CD that we're going to throw instead. I don't even know if that would be better. For this one, we have to take all of these pills, which are going to give us different attributes, like horns and wings. Yeah, this is a very weird part, but we're just going to go for all of them. And once we get all the pills, we can then move forward. And yeah, we did it. Not exactly sure what that did for us, but for this next one, we're going to want to make our legs taller. Then we can do a super jump up there. We want to get all these people to cheer for us before we go and do our dive. It's the perfect dive, and they stop cheering, which is kind of rude. For this guy, we just want to get him to shoot right away. Not too much to say about that one. In the next one, we want to get this guy to limbo instead of run. Let's go. Limbo is a much better Olympic event. On to level 14, we want to find a wizard in the corner, which is going to turn that into a goat, and then we just ride the goat. How is that going to give us a gold medal? I don't know. But then we're going to get anchor arms, and our guy is able to lift it up. He's amazing. We're going to kill all of the people in front of us, so that kind of sucks for them. We really don't care about any of these people. I mean, some of these events like this one, we're just playing well, and other ones we're literally killing our competition or stealing their place. How did nobody see us doing that? Now for this one, we're going to get the Olympic fire, put it on our pants so we move faster. That's what he gets. I mean, he is an Olympic athlete. He should be better. And finally, we'll finish out right there. So on to Trollface Quest 5, and this one is about the World Cup. For this first one, we're going to kick the guy instead of the ball. Then on to the next one, we want to grab some scissors. This way we can get a red card. We can show it to the guard, and he just lets us through. He's probably the worst person at his job that I've ever seen. Now, instead of kicking that ball, we're going to kick the moon because, you know, I guess that's easy enough. Then we want to inflate this ball, only do it 2 times because otherwise it will grow too big. For the 5th level, he's looking for a jersey, but I don't feel like helping him, so we're just going to get him arrested. Then on to number 6, we want to go ahead, take super powered alcohol, and then go out to the game. And I guess our guy's like streaking through the field. Probably not the best decision he's ever made, but then we're going to go through the security. We just turn it off and we can go straight through, which is kind of messed up, but we can celebrate this goal just by hitting our hammer multiple times until our TV explodes. I don't know why he's so pleased about that. You literally just lost a probably very expensive TV. We can also get all those cars to play a really annoying sound. Then we'll go ahead and get this ball, and in the ball, there's a weight. How does this doctor have a job? You should be arrested. And speaking of people who should be arrested, so should this barber, because instead of giving us a haircut, he's gonna give us that. Yeah, these people should not have jobs. They should just not be allowed to do this. And I also shouldn't be allowed to completely cheat that game. But we're actually going into some old-fashioned hard work for this one, since we're just gonna keep juggling the ball. It tells us to click here and something would happen, but I'm just gonna juggle it 10 times. It's pretty impressive. Then we want to skip ahead of all these people, so we're going to take the smelly shoe, they're going to move away, and we can go right in there. Yeah, some of these are very much about the World Cup, and other ones aren't. Like, what am I doing here? What does this have to do with soccer? I have no idea. But for this one, instead of our goalie being a soccer goalie, we're going to make him part of Team Canada, and he's going to be a hockey one. Pretty good one right there. Now our guy's going to dream of playing soccer, but instead it's just a hat. I mean, you probably should have noticed because there was a sign saying it was a hat. But for this one, we're going to turn it into the 60s. So instead of fighting, all of these people are just going to dance together. You know, solving differences. That's what I do. Now for this one, the goalie completely cheats. Just puts down that. How is that allowed? And for the final one of this game, I'm going to charge up my power all the way before finally we kick the ball. But instead of going directly in the goal, it goes through the entire planet until it ends up hitting the goalie and we get the goal and the Troll Cup victory. Now we're on to Trollface Quest 13, and no, I didn't skip any of the games. Instead, for some reason, it just goes from 5 to 13. Not exactly sure why, but it doesn't really matter. We're still gonna play through these. We hit that guy, then we're gonna go ahead, take this jackhammer, and go through the entire ground. Maybe he should have thought about that one. For this, we're going to get rid of all the treasure before the thief goes in it, so he's just kind of sad. Probably went through a lot of stress trying to get in that bank, only for it to completely fail. Next up, we have our boy just trying to fill up some balloons, but he didn't think about the troll balloon, which we're gonna pop, and it just murders him. I don't know how. I guess it was just that big of a balloon. After that one, we're gonna take our trash and put it over in this incinerator instead of any of the other stuff. Yeah, some of these I don't really get and are just confusing. Like this one, where we cause the frog to jump 2 times and then we jump over him. Good job, I guess. Oh, one thing I should also mention as we're getting a little bit farther in this game is this one is actually only going to have 13 levels. All the games in the previous ones had about 20, but that's probably why they actually did call it Trollface Quest 13, because they didn't want to make a full 20 levels, so they were like, hey, this will make sense. But anyways, we're on to the last few. For this one, we get those fish to be really strong and just completely destroy that man. On this next one, he tries to go and drill a hole into our combined walls, so he kind of got what he deserves. Now we're going to click on the 10 button multiple times until we then electrocute ourselves, and that's going to take us to the 13th floor and end off time right there. Now on to Trollface Sports, and for this one, it starts with us riding a bike. We get rid of those screws and the guy goes through the window. I'm not exactly sure if that's how those bikes work, but then we're going to get our boy to dance by just turning on the radio, giving him a nice hat, all that kind of stuff. Then we hit our heads, which turns into a ball. How are we still standing? Not exactly sure. But here we're going to get this gigantic boat, just blow ourselves away. Then we got to do some pull-ups, and the easiest way to do that is getting someone to scare you with a dog. Next up, we're in the mood to brutally murder some people. I mean, they're still smiling, so it can't be the worst thing in the world. And we'll brutally murder this guy too by making him go through the window. This game really likes us going through windows and also just hurting people who don't deserve it. It's not even really a troll. We're just causing bodily harm. How do you call that a troll? And speaking of bodily harm, we're going to get this guy to drink way too much and then do probably the most impressive moves I've ever seen. Yeah, I don't think anyone was expecting that. Now, finally, our guy is trying to train boxing, but completely fails, and that'll be time. Finally, we're out of the sports section and onto TrollTube, and right away, little bit of a jump scare warning. Not really, because this guy's just going to scare us. Then we're going to punch our monitor and laugh about it. Maybe he's laughing through the pain because that probably costs a lot of money. But after that, that, we're going to keep giving some acorns to this guy, one to us, but then we're going to take the very last acorn, and our buddy gets very, very upset. Honestly, I can't even blame him. I'm a little upset at myself. But next up, we're going to be testing out an iPhone compared to a Nokia phone. We're going to be putting them both in the blender, and of course, the Nokia survives. We even get injured, but the Nokia doesn't worry at all. For this next one, we're going to give this guy something, and then, yeah, that happens, and it's Nyan Cat. So, I mean, that's always a fun time. Then we have Miley Cyrus, but instead of her coming in with a wrecking ball, we're just going to use a shooting star. I would also be terrified. And we're going to get this person to come out with a gun, but then we hug each other. I don't even know what's going on at this point anymore, but we got PewDiePie, except we're going to unscrew his head. And see, there's a little guy in there that's doing everything, I guess, but we're on to cooking YouTube. And for this one, we're going to get all of those things together, but then also add that. The chef will be happy though. Not sure why, but on to the next one where we have a slow motion camera. So we're going to be laughing, recording that in slow motion. Then we can start the video and see probably the creepiest laughing I've ever seen in my life. But hey, that's the slow motion. And finally, for this last one, instead of doing a water bucket challenge, we're going to go ahead and put a ton of recycling stuff on us. So hey, it works. And that'll be yet another run done. Next up, we're on to Trollface Quest video games. And right away, we're going to spray paint away that portal and then go and sit there. Not exactly sure why he's laughing, but after that, we're going to use our portal gun to get rid of that thing before we blow out this candle and have a nice cake. Number 3 for this one, all we're going to do is bowl, and then a weird clown head laughs at us. Not exactly sure what's going on with that one, but for this one, yeah, it's fart jokes, where this guy farts twice, and then we go and jump in the hay so we can hide. Next up, we have this enemy, which we're going to use our chicken gun on, and then he's going to get a nice hat and just go away. Yeah, it's that easy to deal with enemies. You should have known. Now we got the Minecraft one, where we're going to construct this, but after we make it, a zombie and a skeleton are going to come argue at us, but as long as we take off our VR goggles, we'll see they're just our parents, and we just laugh at them while they yell at us, because I don't care. Then we have, I don't even know what's going on. But on to the next one, we got the Mortal Kombat, where we got to troll this guy. He's going to get very embarrassed. Of course, we're going to laugh at him, like pretty much all of these. And then for this one, we're going to cheat. So we go straight from $1 to $100. And finally, for the last one of this game, we get the goat to help the rocket take off. And then finally, we make it go onto the helicopter pad. And after waiting for that goat to scream for way too long, we end off time right there. So on to Trollface Quest TV shows, and for this one, we have a kid that is very injured. So we come up with the great idea of going up to him and putting a bandage on his head, not even where he is injured. Probably a great idea. Now we have to hold our breath for a while. I just keep holding it until finally he farts. Yeah, they really like fart jokes in these later Trollface Quest games. But on to the next one, we're going to be shooting a gun until we bring down this caterpillar. It scares him. And next after that, we have Beavis and Butthead, where we just want to keep having these guys laugh. All I have to do is hold my mouse, and yeah, they're just gonna keep going, each time getting a little bit faster as they laugh. And finally, once they get fast enough, they just can't stop themselves, and that's the level. Now for Gravity Falls, we're gonna turn the guy into a plunger and then put it on him. And yeah, he's just very sad. There goes our brother. Guess we're not gonna worry about him. Now for this next one, both of these guys are gonna take off their heads, reveal that they're aliens, and just leave the fake human heads that are still looking terrified. Then we just go through space, easiest thing in the world. Now for this one, we're just gonna hold this guy until finally he starts going crazy. And now we have Better Call Troll, where we're going to get this guy to sniff for a while. Then this guy's going to come out, be like, haha, look at the booger. He's going to laugh at us, but then it goes and attacks him somehow. I don't know if we have the force or something. And for this next level, we're going to go ahead and start tickling this guy. I feel very bad for him. I hate getting tickled. And finally, for the last one of this game, both of these guys are going to sneeze, but this guy wins, I guess. And that'll be another game done. Now on to our very last game, Trollface Quest internet memes. For this one, we're going to wait till someone calls, but then we're going to unplug the phone, make him cry. I kind of feel bad about that one. This next one, some random dude's trying to give us a plunger. I'm not going to trust him, so we kick him away and we just go ourselves. I don't know who that was. Then everybody on the right is freezing except for this guy, so he goes ahead and bursts them in flames. What the heck, man? That wasn't a good thing to do. But after that, we're going to be doing the Matrix to dodge those sandwiches. Easiest thing in the world. Then we have a kitty in a tree, but this guy, instead of helping the cat, he goes and throws this guy in a basketball hoop. What is wrong with you? But on to the next one. There's a nice house here, but we're going to bring up this demonic girl and then cause it to completely go on fire, along with the fire truck going on fire too. Next up, we're going to switch out this guy's body for whatever that's supposed to be. I'm a little terrified, not going to lie. And then this guy, he's going to get jump scared by himself. But that doesn't scare him. The cat scares him, and the cat also scares the jump scare. I know, it was terrifying. Now we're on a game show. We decide that our answer is the right one by becoming evil, and for the final level, we're gonna put down a card, and then this guy goes and throws the table. What a mean thing to do, but that's another game. All right, subscribe if you enjoyed. Bye.